Again, I appreciate coming on, Mr. Basic Trainer. Call you Steve for the rest of the thing. No.
So you said Steve, is that just like just a neutral name, or was there a reference to
Just a dart at the wall.
Okay, gotcha.
My dad's name is Steve, I guess. Maybe that's why it came into my head, but
Gotcha.
that's about it. No, it was just completely random. Yeah, so just basically talking to collectors, normally people that I've seen talking, communicating, like PK mentioned, sometimes you don't want to just bring on a random Joe Schmo so they can. Luckily, this isn't live, so I guess I could do that, and I could just waste my time and delete it. So it might be a play sometime, just to pull in a random YouTube follower or something. So, but yeah, you have a lot of content on there, even though you don't really have like a dedicated YouTube right now. Like I look back, man, you have like 37 weeks ago. I was watching your Pokegal interview, and unfortunately, Swami, I think, took down all of his past videos, and it's not live anymore, right?
Yep.
That was your first podcast, I think you
That
did.
was my very first. Yeah, Pokegale was the second, but he still has it. He still has it. He just, I guess, it's not
Unlisted. Yeah. Yep. So did you have I guess we'll jump in. Did you have a YouTube? Because Pokegal showed like basic trainer / YouTube or something like that as like a link to your page or something.
Yeah, so that was very early on. So obviously, I have a YouTube account, right?
Okay.
I think that's where she directed, everyone, but it's not a channel per se.
Yeah.
Channel at all. Never have. So yeah, it was just one of those things. I think she just kind of made the assumption without asking. Yeah, she just randomly reached out. That's how it was. Really, that's how it's been with every single person. Like I don't reach out to anyone to have me on. So I think it's hilarious that people still keep calling me, to bring me on.
No, yeah,
Really.
it's nice to have people that at least articulate well and just good general conversation. Being able to see you with all these other people I'm following, Mr. Oak, Professor Oak. For those of you who don't know him, check out his YouTube. Awesome dude. Everybody, PK, all the other channels you've been on, definitely thoroughly enjoy your conversations. Yours conversation with Jake, Pokenomics, the whole paywall thing. I don't even get into that stuff. That stuff's over my head, but it's good, fun conversation. I love seeing everyone's views on all that stuff. It's funny. But I definitely want to hear more about you. So the thing about my podcast is just knowing like your collecting side, not just Pokemon, right? I know you're doing other stuff, primarily My Little Pony now, but I know it's your main focus.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, everything else is by the wayside.
That's right.
But just kind of get to know you as a collector, like where it started. So if you can kind of introduce yourself and just kind of talk through like your intro roots, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you. And once again, thank you for having me. Always an honor, when I get invited on. But it all started, as a lot of people like to start, like everyone else. 1999, you're a kid, whether you're 7 through 11, years old. I myself, I was 9, so started with the anime, hooked instantly. Um, went around the shops, getting the packs. And it's funny though. What my funniest story is that I never got to pull a Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, but that's probably now looking back because I didn't open enough base packs because they were always sold out.
Yep.
As a kid, or at least myself, let me speak for myself. I was dumb enough to think that every single card, all 150, came from base set, jungle, and fossil. I didn't realize those were 3 different sets back then. And so all I opened was jungle and fossil, and not realizing that that's the reason why I never got my base as Sard. But so that's how it came down. But I think like for a lot of people, it came and went within a couple of years. My last real set was Team Rocket. When Neo Genesis came out, I just remember, walking down the aisle, I saw them, but by that point I was already gone. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen these. Let me go ahead and, buy some.
Yeah.
And I think I bought a handful, 4 or 5 packs maybe. I pulled the Lugia on my first shot, and that was my only shot at Neo Genesis. And then I was done for as far as Pokemon goes and collecting. Always kept my binder, always kept it around. And as a kid, I was always that keep it in, sleeves, keep them in the sheets. I never took them out unless they were for trade. And I only traded commons and uncommons. If it was a holo, I kept it. I kept it all. So yeah, that's how it started. High school came. I was way too cool for that, or I should say, I was way too scared to get ridiculed by the cool kids. So
Exactly.
I left that alone, and I would say somewhere, I always kept the Game Boy, the games, the shows, something that I can do in the closet on my own. I would always keep that around. But yeah, once I graduated from high school is really when the interest started coming back around. I started looking more into Game Boy games and looking up on YouTube for information. I just stumbled upon Zach Jetman Pokemon. Shout out to him because he's the one that really got me into buying sealed product and slabs. Once I found those things, I just became hooked. I became hooked all over again. The other one, who a lot of people don't remember, is Crack Rock McCabe, who is actually very good friends with Zach Jetman. And Crack Rock McCabe is an OG, just like everyone else in the game, the OG of the pillars of the hobby. But a lot of people don't know him because he deleted his account, all of his content, and he's nowhere to be seen. Zach Jetman, I had a conversation with him. Was it at the Leonhardt pop-up shop? And he told me that he still talks to him regularly, And so, yeah, I thought that was awesome. But yeah, fast forward and just buying, slowly, gradually. I always like to say that I never dipped into the honeypot. It was always from, extra gigs, selling, extra items, what have you, gifts, gift cards. Very quickly, my family picked up that I love Pokemon, and they just did all the magic for me. They just gifted me eBay cards for forever now. Cash. I would assemble everything and then use it all for Pokemon.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised PWCC doesn't have gift cards.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny. That's awesome though, man. It's so did you start with the video game at all, or is it basically anime and then TCG?
Yeah, it was the anime for sure, because the anime came out, I want to say 98.
Yeah, something around there.
In the fall, and yeah, the Game Boy came out. The game came out later. So the anime for sure is what started it. I mean, you're getting ready as a kid to go to school, and you turn on, the WB network, and there's Pokemon slapping you in the face. So it was very easy to get hooked.
Yeah, kids these days are spoiled as hell because now they just crank on Netflix and watch the full thing in order. And where we had to either sit down every Saturday to watch the new episode, and that never happened because on this Saturday you got Jimmy's birthday party, so you missed this entire episode. So now you're effed for a year or whatever till it replays. So it's being able to just turn on Netflix is crazy, and just being able to marathon any old animes. It's actually insane. Envious, envious of them for sure. Did never picked up any other collectibles kind of along the way, like, or was it primarily just Pokemon?
Yeah, along the way, nothing. So back when I was a kid, I did dabble a bit with Yu-Gi-Oh, a bit with Digimon. I want to say there was something else in there, but that was it. And it was very short-lived. Each one of those were very short-lived. But once I came back, it was just strictly Pokemon. Yeah, I had no clue that there were all these TCGs that existed. Period. MTG, I didn't find out until later. But yeah, even then, the only hobby, the only TCG that has my heart is Pokemon. That's it. Hence my name, Basic.
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever play it at all competitively? Do you know how to play?
No, not competitively. I've never played it. Played it with, friends and, family members, and we made our own rules, but never competitively. Do I know how to play? I would say yes. I would say I'm pretty great, but I need the bumper rails, meaning it's online. Online only. If I were to play in real life, I would get slaughtered because all the rules and let me see what that card does. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Online makes it very easy.
Yu-Gi-Oh's rough for that. They have like paragraphs on each one of their cards that you need to read, and I can't keep up, so I don't do any modern Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. Like, it's crazy.
So it was about 4 or 5 years ago where, again, now I'm starting to see a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh on eBay and whatnot, just naturally because of Pokemon. And I said, you know what? Let me see if I can get into Yu-Gi-Oh again. And I went to the store one day randomly, and I just happened to see this nice fancy Yu-Gi-Oh box, 3 decks, I believe. I said, you know what? Let me pick it up. It's cool. I opened it up. I was all excited, and then I'm reading this thing, and I can barely read it because the text is so small. I said,
yeah.
I said, you know what? Forget it. I put it away.
I put it away. Old guy had because I used to play sometimes, and at the local tournament, the guy had like a magnifying glass. He put it over the card, and he was reading it. And he was about 40 years old at the time, and the font is extremely small. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome though. I absolutely love the TCGs. They've definitely changed my life and your life. So when did you assemble that? You had like a wall mount case of Pokemon, and it's gone. Where the hell is it?
You saw that, yeah. So I think so again, going back to my very first live, my very first invite was Swami. Shout out to him. I love that guy just for that reason, that he was the guy that brought on Joe Schmo without vetting, without knowing me. I was expecting that conversation to be had because I would do that, right? You want to get to at least a FaceTime, a 5-minute FaceTime. He didn't do any of that. Let's just get on. This is the day, and let's do it. But so I definitely had that display in the background, and then Pokegal, shout out to her. She was my second. I had it on there, and then soon after that, I'm pretty sure it was taken down. Made the move to Texas, which is why I don't have it anymore. The display is in storage, and I just have my cards with me.
Yeah. No plans to put it back up, huh?
Oh yeah, one day for sure, 100%. It was eye candy. I mean, and what a way to display it, right? And it was one of those things where at work, I just saw this thing every time I would have a meeting. It would just be sitting there for about 2 months. I saw it. I'm just that guy. I take shots because if you worst case, it's a no big deal, right? So I said, hey, and I spoke to the HR person. They're right next door. Like, hey, what are you guys going to do with that display? She goes, I don't know. It's been sitting there, and I don't think we're going to do anything with it because it's so bulky. It's thick. It's 3-window, and she says, why are you interested? I said, hey, if you guys don't want it, and you're just going to chuck it, I'll take it. She says, get it out of here. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And that was my first display. That's how I got that. So it was awesome.
Hell yeah. Whereabouts in Texas are you located?
San Antonio.
San Antonio? Awesome. I know you went to, did you go to all the Collecticons in Texas last year? Or is it just
every single one? Every single one.
So I don't know if you stopped by my booth. I had a booth at one of them, and the other one I was just an attendee. I don't remember at all, but it was just a blur. That was just complete blur.
I remember you mentioning that you were at one of the cons as a vendor, and right away I'm like, wait, what? That's crazy. But I'm pretty sure at that point I didn't know you. I would stumbled upon your channel at that point, and so I'm pretty sure that was the case. But I'm pretty sure I did because I stop at every single booth when I go.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
I hoping to get to a couple of them this year. I at least not the next one, Charlotte. I think I'm not going to that one, and I'm hoping the Denver, maybe Kansas City. Not going to be able to make Texas. I got something planned already, unfortunately, but I love it. They're awesome shows.
They are awesome.
Any plans to ever vend or anything like one of those, or just go as an attendee with the family?
So I'm not sure as far as vending or anything crazy like that, but attending for sure. So again, I'm going to Dallas 100%. The one that was in question is now pretty much a guarantee this week. I will be in Long Beach. I will be attending that one. And then Denver is just, there's no way that, you you can't keep me away from that place. Everyone's going to be there. I want to see Swami. So yeah, that's a no-brainer for me.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool, man. So when you went with the family, they all Pokemon fans? The wife, the kids, or
By default, by default, it's just one of those things. Yeah, by default, I've had conversations with PK about this. It's like, my girls, they go ahead and follow me. They'll open packs. If I buy XYZ, they're gonna be there and opening with me, but they're not the ones to actually ask and beg, and I need Pokemon. It's just not their realm. Now, maybe it's because they're girls, maybe it's because I don't know, or maybe because we're just in a new era, which is kind of my gut feeling that, back in the day, I gave this explanation to Oak. Back in the day, we have very little things to distract us. So when Pokemon came along, that was huge.
yeah,
That was you know what I mean? That was just crazy. Today, there's way too many distractions. There's way too much technology available to them that something like cardboard might not be as exciting to them as it was to us. For that moment, it is, but once that moment is gone, it's gone. If I don't mention Pokemon to them, they won't mention it either.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was on your Instagram a picture they took with Super Duper Danny. So is that a channel they have watched before with you or something, or is it just something you're a fan of?
So funny enough, they do actually like watching the YouTube channels, the Super
Yeah.
Duper Danny, the Pokerevs, Leon Hearts, the ones that I'm typically
DK.
not accustomed to. Well, it's hilarious because she knows all of your guys' names. They know. Every time it's like, oh, PK's on. Oh, it's Jake. Oh, Dan brought Jake on, or something. And it's just funny how they know all
That's
the
weird.
names.
Yeah, it's hilarious. My daughter and son, they're 4 and 2 this June. They hear my intro, like the beat drop, and they're like da 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 da, and they run to the couch. They know that the video is about to start. That's hilarious.
That's a pretty crazy intro, by the way. It's probably the craziest intro within, the circle that we have. It's pretty gangster.
Yeah, they say you don't have intros on YouTube videos, but I don't really give a shit. They
That's
say, yeah, if you watch like how to get a lot of views and open mouth thumbnails, no intros, I don't know, just there's some special things you should do, and I was like, F that. I purchased the animation for like $100 through Instagram. Some guy over in like Argentina did it, and my cousin made the beat for it. And I was like, it's pretty sweet. So
I think it works. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool, man. I enjoy it. I don't the views are cool, but I'm not gonna delete what I like. So it's the way it goes. You're obviously I've been following some of your collection. You don't talk about it a whole lot, and that's probably a reason. Do you have collection goals? Is there anything you can talk about, or is there stuff? Because I know back in Pokegal video, you had mentioned a PSA 9 master set, Japanese hollows. Is that something you completed, or was that um, something still on the list? Because that was a while ago.
No, so when I hop back in, and I've showed it quite a few times, it's just something that I always keep forever. If one day I were to ever sell everything, these 3 slabs are going to remain in my collection. But it's the trainer cards, Bill, Professor Oak, and Team Rocket Returns from Team Rocket set, and it was simply because my favorite game is actually the TCG game for Game Boy.
Yeah.
And so Bill, Professor Oak, those are vital. Those are vital for
Oh,
your deck. And so those were the very first 2 slabs that I picked up, and then Team Rocket simply because I love Team Rocket. I'm a big Team Rocket fan. And so those were my first 3 slabs. As soon as I knocked those 3 out of the list, those were my first 3 my first 3 goals. I jumped right back. I jumped right into the master sets hollows English for base set Jungle Fossil. Along the way of me picking up these slabs, randomly just buying lots, a Japanese slab would slide right in, and okay, you're when you're buying in bulk, you're buying, you're usually getting
yeah.
a cheap price. So you're like, okay, and I would always tell myself I'm gonna sell it, but I never did. And but eventually, just through accident, again playing with the slabs, I'm like, and I'm just gonna grab a random example, but like, this Charizard, or not Charizard, but Mewtwo, looks better in Japanese. It stands out. I mean, it's actually sexier than the English, counterpart. That's when I decided I need this in English as well. So I first completed the master set, base set, Jungle Fossil English, hollow set. No commons and uncommons. So once I made that realization, I said, you know what, we need the Japanese. I jumped right into Japanese right away. And I mean, that goal got knocked out really quick within a couple months because I just went straight after it. I just, whatever came up, I just watched it and I just bought it. At that point, like I was just buying it because, I mean, when the most expensive card is Charizard at $50, everything is relatively cheap at that point, and I was just picking them up. I didn't care what the price was, but again, when Charizard is $50, you can't complain. And it's a PSA 9 set, not an 8. So, but that's how that came about. And I still have the Japanese. I did end up trading the English sets, base Jungle Fossil. I did end up trading that away towards the end of the hype, and traded them for what I would call blue chips, today, because today that unlimited set is worth nothing compared to the cards that I picked up.
Hammered. It got hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably now, like, you could get a complete, like, just the hollows PSA 9 set, the Charizards, 1,000 to 1,500 depending on the day. So if you picked it up for 1,000, you're talking $2,000 max for the whole set. So crazy. Whereas I think the PSA 9 hit 6 Gs, I think, at one time.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. And, as a person that I call myself a pure collector, to the point where even selling, I don't like selling, which is why I traded. I went to the collecticons to trade with vendors, because that to me is such a cool, feeling versus selling and just getting the cash and then let's go see what we can buy. Trading is a lot more fun. And it was one of those things where during the hype, and I still remember vividly, I was in the couch, Logan Paul break, and then watching the auctions, right after that. And it's like, I was a deer caught in the headlights. And I was just like, what's going on here? Why are people paying these prices when I bought my Charizard for $50? Why is it going for freaking $5,000? But because I was keeping everything, right? My thoughts were, and I love this stuff. I mean, this is something that God help me if I take it to the grave. But I always felt like if I sold it, I would lose a part of my soul. And it sounds cheesy, but that's how much this stuff just means to me. It's my childhood. It represents a time where things were just way too good. And so, yeah, that's how I felt. And also, maybe call it ignorance for sure, not having the knowledge that all of this would come right back down. If I knew then what I know now, no brainer, right?
Sell it all, buy in threefold.
Exactly.
Easy.
Exactly. But my thought process was, if I get rid of it today, there's no way I'm picking this back up at $5,000, right? And it's only going to keep going up. So that was kind of my blunder there. But I don't regret it at all, because I love this stuff. And the fact that I still look at every single one of my pieces and I never attribute a value. Once it's in my hand, I don't attribute a value to it. So I still want to maintain that. As long as I can maintain that in the hobby, I'll probably never sell.
Yeah. So have you been successful, like, trading at collecticons? Like, is that they're usually pretty open to it?
Yeah. I would say 50%, which is a pretty good clip. They're like, we'll trade.
When usually when you walk up to a vendor with a slab while they're vending and you say, hey, you want to buy this, they'll say, hey, I'm paying whatever, 70% last sold, whatever that is. So when you're doing a trade, is it you get more of a fair value, I'm sure, for your card?
So when I've never tried selling, so I don't know what the percentage or what kind of a discount you're going to have to give the vendor. versus trading. I just know that for trading, the worst number that I got, worst percentage was probably 30% off market. That I was going to have to give them. And I ended up trading with Ken Lee, and I've done a couple of trades with him, Pokemon Network, pretty sure you know him.
Yeah.
And for those guys that, that go to Collecticon, but don't know who I'm talking about, he's the guy with the Charmander onesie.
Charizard.
Charizard? Okay. And, so I've traded with him a couple of times. He's super awesome, super cool. I mean, he gave me, I think it was like, once I calculated it, once I got home, 12%. At that time, I didn't want to calculate too much because I just thought it was such a great deal. And I was like, you know what, let me just pull the trigger. I'm getting amazing cards in return. I had already selected what I wanted. We were debating a little bit of a back and forth, but once he said yes, I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. I'm not even going to bother, trying to get a better, deal. He was giving me such a great, great value. Again, blue chips versus what I was giving him. And so he's been my go-to guy. But I've seen anywhere between 10% and 30% is what I would call it. Yeah,
Kenley's got tons of stuff, man. That dude I would love to just take a snapshot of kind of stuff he's got going on. Same with usually the people with the booth right next to them, DFW Pokemon, man. They did a lot of work in the last year and a half. They've come a long, long way. You in Facebook groups? Their Facebook group?
Facebook. I've never had a Facebook account of one of those weirdos.
Yeah. So I got a Facebook group, a Facebook page. DFW Pokemon basically started from zero. They had a Facebook group. They had zero people in their group 2 years ago, and it's like, I think past Burbank, or it's right there with Burbank now, about 60,000 people. They've done crazy stuff down there in Dallas. It's nuts. They had at one point, I think all the members in their group were free admission to a local like roller coaster park.
Oh, okay.
They just had to say we're coming, and it was like, I don't know how many people showed up, but it was like a lot of people. Sadly, I didn't live down in Texas, so it wasn't worth a flight down there, but they had a bunch of people show up, so it was pretty cool. Mad props to their grind.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, do you sell stuff?
I haven't. So I have sold since the peak. I have sold stuff, pretty much duplicates. I did send off a sub over to Nick, Old School Pokemon. Shout out to him. I just don't like dealing with that stuff. I just feel like it's a lot of work. I'd just rather go ahead and pay the premium and have someone else do it. So that was awesome. I think it was Thanksgiving weekend, actually. We kind of aimed for that weekend, figuring that people were going to be home. Christmas is coming around, so maybe, people are going to be in their couches on eBay a little bit more. So we shot for that weekend. I was very happy with the return, especially knowing what I paid for a lot of these cards. Even then, November 2021, still a pretty amazing return. Luckily that's something that I always did. I always kept a record of everything that I bought and kept the price. The only thing, and I'm still knocking myself for that, is not putting a date. But for a lot of the big items, like I know what when I got it, but like a lot of the stuff in between, it's just like I don't know. The only thing you can reference is the price. That's about it.
So because you don't have a Facebook, you probably got like a pad and paper next to your desk. You're writing it. It's all down by hand.
Oh, I love doing that stuff. It's all paper. It's all notebook. It's all pencil. Yeah, that's my nerd. I know a lot of people just, hey, you got a computer, just a spreadsheet, right? There's something about pencil and paper that I just love that. I love getting the slab. It's the whole process. I get the slab, clean it up, look at it, look at the pop report, look at everything, put it in a new sleeve. Once I do that, I go through the numbers. I grab my notebook and put it all down to the cert number. And I've always said, if I just randomly die, like, guys, use this black book, and this should give you a good guide.
Yeah, sell it on Craigslist for $40. Probably would end up happening.
Probably.
We got to pay for the casket. We need $5,000.
Yeah, so not selling, but to answer your original question, I have sold for sure. Nick's been doing the bulk of it, and I'm getting a 500 card return. Hopefully one day. I think we're on month 18 now from PSA. So I submitted that one in December of 2020 to Graded Gem. Shout out to him. I just feel like I always got to shout these guys out. But James, I submitted 500 cards to them, and 18 months now, and we'll see when I get it.
I blame Cam for the backlog. No. He's probably got him. He's like, we're just gonna leave basics there in the corner. We'll call him in like 3 more months just to piss him off. But
yeah, and based on those cards, like I'm still very happy what I sent off because I was very selective. I made sure okay, this was my process. Once Logan Paul happened, I realized, okay, I've got to sell some of this stuff. And when I sell some of this stuff, I just meant my binder stuff, my childhood stuff. But I'm not one of those that I look at my childhood binder because I hate binder cards. Even today, I hate them. And I just I got no use for them. I don't flip through them. They just collect dust. I wipe down my slabs. I don't do that for my binders. And so when that came around, I want to say 2016, 2017, me and my brother were in Chicago, and we decided to stop at a shop. And we walked in there, opened up the first binder, couple pages of Charizards, base set, couple pages of Blastoise and Venusaurs. I picked every single one up. I think the most expensive one was Charizard at like $3 or $4. The best grade I got from them was a 9 and an 8, and then everything in between. Pretty much like a 1 card per grade is what I got, which is hilarious because I'm like, okay, did they just say, okay, this is the worst to the best? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PSA. They just went in order. But so once I pulled out the obvious cards in October, which is a sub of 45, then Logan Paul happened. And then the whole news about PSA and increasing prices and the prices that they're going for on eBay, what I was following, I said, I think I've got to dig out my binders and send some stuff off. Well, I first started with in mind, let's do 50, let's do another 50. I wound up doing 500. And again, I was very selective. For the most part, I would say for 90% of the cards, I was very selective, making sure my pre-grading, centering, and whitening. And as long as there weren't any obvious, scuffs or anything like that, it went. Hollows specifically. But then after that, binders, whatever was left over, I sold them. I did put them on eBay. These was probably my only eBay, sales, my big ones. I made sure, I was very happy about this, or hindsight, I was very happy that I made sure that it was available to China, to overseas. And I did the what is it, GSP?
Global Shipping Program. Yep.
I put it through that GSP program, and I opened it up. I think I selected 3 p.m. just so that it's like just 9 a.m. for those peak just for those overseas times, and it's like 10, 11 o'clock here. And man, the numbers that those binders caught, crazy. It was 2 binders, and they both went to Australia. I think one went to Australia, one went to China. Now that I think about it, yeah. And I don't regret that move at all. And those were all my childhood cards, and I don't regret that move at all because again, binder cards are just not my thing. So yeah, definitely have sold, and definitely I think will be end up selling what majority of the portion of my return eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you said you're selling through the old school Pokemon consignments?
That's what I've used. Yeah, that's what I used.
Why not Z&G when you did your grading through them?
Well, I don't think he had opened that option when I first got my October return, which was, I think, October of 2021. So it actually took 12 months for me to get that. I think James did that after the fact.
Yeah, did a couple months or so.
Right.
Before you open that up.
Right. And so Nick was already doing it. I think he definitely, was one of the first ones to do that due to the craze. He saw that and he took advantage of it. So, me being, cool friends with him, I reached out to him like, hey, would you be able to do mine? He's like, yeah, send it over, of course. So, yeah, old school, pretty awesome dude. I met him for the first time at Collecticon.
Yeah.
Along with Jet Min, who is my hero in the hobby.
Right next to each other.
Right. And That was such an awesome event. Specifically, that one is still my favorite because not only did I meet so many, new people, it was one of my first, but getting to meet my hero, and the fact that these guys invited me to just go hang out at night. We left the event and we just went to go hang out at night. I was like, me? Like, yeah, let's go. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go
Oh
hang.
yeah.
Yeah, ever
So
since we've been very, very tight.
right across from them, do you remember what was there?
MetaZoo.
How many times did you hit that booth?
As much as I could. As much as I could.
I respect it, bro. That's awesome, man. I saw your post, those gold packs. Now I couldn't remember if the gold packs you had to be a member or if that was the silver packs.
Even the silver packs where you didn't have to be a member, they were just very limited. If I recall, 100 silver packs. And they were given out very randomly. It wasn't like, hey, it's 2:00, everybody get in line. No, it was given out very randomly. Pretty much whoever they thought, hey, you know what, this guy's cool. Let me give him a silver pack. I really thought I had a chance with this one guy. He had a silver pack, and I thought he was gonna lean over. And I reached over. I said, I'm gonna take the shot. I reached over. He said, no, I can't give this away. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, those things. My buddy, because we went down there just as tourists that time, and they probably stocked up on about 6 of them, and they sold them within a couple days, all of them, probably for about $250 to $300 a piece, which is probably cheap compared to, I'm guessing, what they're selling for.
And if it was anywhere between 2 or 3 days, it's definitely cheap compared to if you would have waited a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because as they started coming up on eBay, the price just kept getting higher and higher and higher until they just disappeared. And that's what happened with those. Those gold packs are still pretty cool because on my IG, I kind of told a story. I broke down a little bit of the history because a lot of people don't know the history on those. And essentially, and I talked to Mike Waddell. So I got it straight from the horse's mouth. I sat down with him one day, and he said that he busted open a few MetaZoo Kickstarter boxes until he was able to get every single variant. So of a card, if it had all 3 variants, hollow, reverse, non-hollow, he pulled all 3, but 1 of each. And until he was able to get the entire, let's call it master set, less than 600 cards. And took him home. Him and his family, his girlfriend, and I believe he said his grandmother, they stamped them. They stamped them there in the kitchen table, sleeved them up and sealed them and stamped the gold packs. And yeah, it's, the rest is history. So that alone is just a cool part of the story. Yeah, and so their first Collecticon as well.
Yeah, so technically every single one is a 1-on-1. There could be a reverse or a hollow variant, but there's only one of it.
And they're all Kickstarters. I still don't know because the way that it was, maybe handled is not the right word, but the way it was all done, people were just opening it as like, MetaZoo was very fresh. It was their first Collecticon.
Yeah.
This was pretty much their.
They didn't have a line like they do at the new Collecticons.
No, not at all.
Not a single.
So a lot of people were opening the packs. Oh, what's this? And then probably chucking it. Like not knowing what it was. They probably still have it in a binder somewhere, not knowing what it is still.
Yeah.
It's same thing happened. A lot of people within the con were buying the packs from people, booths, vendors were like, hey, I'll give you $20 for your pack. Hell yeah, here you go. Yeah. But the fact that they're, it's their first Collecticon, they're Kickstarters. And again, to my point of the story is, we don't know who has the Mothman Kickstarter stamped, con. We don't know if it's ever been opened. We don't know if someone opened it and chucked it. We don't know if it's still sealed. So that's pretty cool, along with all the other cool, hollows and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool, man. It was a dead booth. Like you could walk up, maybe one person ahead of you every time. And I know the most recent one I went to, which was the last one last year, the line, like they had set times, like 1 p.m. we were doing a giveaway. The line would just fill the room, just because people saw the sales of the previous giveaways, and it was insane. It's insane.
You're referring to Houston, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I didn't make the line twice. I didn't make the line twice because it was just ridiculous. I made the line maybe 3 times total because it was like 5 different lines throughout the day. And yeah, got some awesome Nightfall spoilers. I think there was 2 different versions, and I think I was able to get like 12 packs in total. But through one of those, pretty cool story. I'm sitting there with my girls. We're having lunch, and this guy comes along. He has this, tray of food, and looks at me, and then I realize who it is. He says, "Hey, you mind if I sit here? Because it's a table of like 8, but it's only me and my 2 daughters." I'm like, "Yeah, go right ahead." It's Texas Ted from MetaZoo.
Nice.
And so I said, "Yeah, go right ahead." And so right away I said, "Hey, you're a MetaZoo guy, right? Yeah, I've seen you a couple of times." He goes, "Yeah, I've seen you a couple of times as well." I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool." And he just starts asking me questions like, "What do you do? What hobbies? What are you here for? Yada yada." After about a 15-20 minute conversation, he says, "Hey, come see me by the booth. Come see me by the booth. Go bring your girls and see me by the booth." And I know MetaZoo Mario because of my first Collecticon, Frisco, Texas. And once I was able to get up there and I saw him, and I forgot what they were gonna give me originally, but then because then they realized, oh, we both know this guy. He goes, "You know what? Let's give him a Nightfall box, and every single person inside, artist and whatnot, they all signed it." And that was just freaking pretty cool. Again, I don't know how I luck out with these freaking things, but I'm not I'm not mad.
Hell yeah. No, so you do have a Kickstarter box, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it. So what else? Do you have slabs, or is it basically just sealed product from MetaZoo?
MetaZoo, man, I've been wanting to pull the trigger on slabs, but the prices, I just can't justify it, especially when going back, when slabs first started rolling out, those numbers were crazy. I then wanted to at least get the promos, the Rudy promos. I wanted really bad, and it's just those numbers just didn't make sense. Maybe now I can definitely, push myself to do that, but I'm definitely going to hold off a little bit. But no slabs. It's packs. I have Kickstarter packs. I have a lot of promo packs. A lot of a lot of sealed promo cards. That one Kickstarter box, and I'm definitely into MetaZoo. I just like the art, and again, I tell everyone maybe it is biased for sure, but I think it's one of those things when it's actually in front of you, you get to hold it, you get to open it, your opinion changes a bit just by simply having the product in front of you, just by getting to experience it. If you never experienced it yourself, if you don't hold the cards in your hand, then I can definitely understand why you would have a negative perception about MetaZoo.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of subscribers now, but I had probably like 200 then, which is not a lot. But when MetaZoo was first coming out, I did like a review. I actually went through and looked at all the different arts. And I personally was a fan. I have not even yet bought anything of MetaZoo, but I'm a fan of the way it looks. The gameplay is what is always my hang up. The fourth wall element, being able to fart to increase your attack points is very strange. Especially if you have a giant room of 30-year-old men, it could get stinky really fast to start boosting attack points. Which is wild. That's insane. Like that, just you can wear unicorn clothes to boost attack points. Like it's crazy. Like that. I like the fourth wall element, but some of it's out there.
Now imagine if you did all of the above. You got
Yeah.
your unicorn onesie, you fart, you do. Imagine if you did all of that.
Yeah.
OP.
Untouchable. Be untouchable. Yeah. It's like this guy ate beans today. I lost. Like game over. Like I could see it. No. No, it seems cool, and I give them props, man. They got a $250,000 tournament for the Texas Collecticon, which is insane money for a new TCG. I had posted a video about that, and just I went back comparing old national world tournaments for Magic the Gathering, and there's similar prize pools for Magic the Gathering, which has been around since '93. Here, MetaZoo is dropping their nuts on the table with $250,000 for they've been out for 2 years, year and a half, and it's impressive. It'll definitely pull in competitive players from other TCGs because you got Yu-Gi-Oh players who play for prize cards, and they sell the prize cards for money. And usually that ranges anywhere from $2,000 for a super rare version for like second to fourth place, and up to like 10 to 15,000 for the ultra rare. You're gonna get a lot more if you win this MetaZoo tournament. Like it's crazy, and there's gonna be a lot less skill there. It's gonna be interesting.
And I don't know if you looked at the tiers as far as the prizes, but I mean, third place you get 25,000, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're anywhere between fourth and 32nd place, you get 1,000, and then product, and everyone gets a list of product, but fourth place through 32nd place, you get $1,000, and then some sealed product. Everyone gets 5 packs, 5-player card packs, tournament card packs, and then the other one is called tournament packs. So you get a total of 10 packs, which is going to be exclusive to this tournament alone. Just that alone, just the packs alone, secondary market, you would figure that pays for your entire trip, the entire thing, and then some probably. Let alone the $1,000 and the sealed product and what have you. This is going to be a tournament of 250 players, I believe, and I think they're actually trying to increase it because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have they want to get in, and they're signing up. They're joining these tournaments so they can qualify for the for this tournament in Dallas. So what I've been seeing around is that they're actually trying to expand it to 300 to 350.
I can't believe it's only 250 right now. That's insane. Like the odds of you topping is so high. Like compared to like most of the big tournaments I was talking about, is like 1,000 plus people all day.
When I saw the top, I think it's the top 50 get packs, and that's it. The exclusive packs. I said, you know what? That alone pays for the trip. I started looking into how to play the game because I said I'm going to Dallas anyway. Might as well see. Once I started looking into some tutorials, I spent about an hour. I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me. Just like Pokemon, I never got into it to play in real life tournaments. But MetaZoo is definitely, maybe it's just because it's brand new and I have no clue. But I would think that at least knowing Pokemon would give you some sort of an advantage going into MetaZoo. It's totally different, and maybe I'm just having a hard time myself. But I just gave up after an hour.
Really? Yeah. I haven't even looked into it. I'd be interested to see how it plays. I can't wait to kind of see it because I've played a lot of TCGs, a lot of them. So I'm pretty familiar with a bunch of them.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's crazy, man. It's good things ahead for them. It seems they lots of shit going on, lots of stuff. The Mike Waddell, did you watch his first like YouTube box opening that got taken down?
Yes.
About him saying, "Here's the Blastoise, here's the Charizard of the set." Obviously, that turned a lot of people off, but just the way he was talking about it. But I get it. You're trying to make it relatable for everybody else. You're doing everything you can to make it relatable. I just thought that was pretty interesting. I really would love to see some type of video game, like even like I don't know, some type of 8-bit video game, like a Pokemon-esque MetaZoo. Like that'd be insane.
I forget the company, but they're in talks. They're in talks with this company to get this video game rolled out.
Yeah, because that was that's what most people had came into, the anime and the video game. Like the cards came after those, and that's what brought everybody in. But the video game could get the younger crowd into it too. That could be massive move for sure. Especially if it got on the Switch or something and it wasn't just like a port or something.
Yeah, and I forget whose live it was, but I mentioned if they get on, on Discord, I'm always hopping on their Discord just to see what's new, just to kind of stay on top of things. As usual, Mike Waddell being very cryptic, just put out a burger emoji. So of course everyone's assumption is McDonald's, Burger King, like what's going on here? And so finally, when he did his MetaZoo hour, I asked, hey, like, what does this mean? McDonald's, Burger King was like, yep. I'm like, all right, cool. That'd be awesome. And to me, that might be the biggest move yet. Maybe Walmart still is the number one move, but as far as like putting the product in front of people's faces that have no clue what it is, I mean, when you talk about a fast food joint, that might be it. Because 99.999 forever have never seen or even, heard about MetaZoo. And once they receive that product, a percentage is going to say, whoa, what's this? Let's look it up. Is this worth anything? So that's just smart.
Billions and billions sold. That's what McDonald's is there for. How much is the paywall for that Discord?
No, there's no. There's no paywall. No paywall for that one. Let me take a drink.
I figured being one at least. Come on. No. Oh, that's funny.
I'm in a bunch of Discords. It just so happens that they don't charge me. So,
I can't let it lay. That's funny. That's good shit. I don't know who you are, but that's good. So MetaZoo, Pokemon, those are your main two collectibles right now that you're chasing? Or you might not even chasing MetaZoo.
Yeah, I'm definitely keep my eyes on MetaZoo, but it's just like Pokemon. I stick with the card slabs, even though I don't have a slab yet. I still have my eyes on those. I'm definitely not on dance level where I'm buying NFTs and all these other crazy things. But yeah, just like Pokemon, I'm sticking to the cards, sticking to the sealed product, things like that. Outside of TCGs, I'm a big baseball fan, so I collect a lot of baseball memorabilia. I'm a Cubs fan specifically, so I have a lot of that. Right now, I have a ticket stub, Cubs Houston Astros at Miller Park, Milwaukee. And so, that's a very unique event, due to a hurricane down in Houston. Very short story, is going to be boring, but it was at Houston, the game, but due to the hurricane, it got canceled, needed to be relocated. But there was only two options, and it was Milwaukee and I believe Cincinnati. But in Cincinnati, they were going to have to play like literally 2 hours after playing whatever game before. So it wound up being Milwaukee. Now, Houston was mad, and there was articles all over the place about this because you can't play in Milwaukee. Chicago's just down the road, and now all of Chicago is going to come over. That's exactly what happened. And tickets were, I think, $20 for every single person. You just walk in, you grab your seat. First in, first come, first serve. You pay your ticket, you walk right in, you grab your seat. And it was a packed house of Cub fans. On top of that rarity already, Carlos Zambrano throws a no-hitter in a ballpark where he wasn't even supposed to pitch. So once I uncovered that, send it off to PSA, throw a middleman, and you know what? Right, I'm just waiting for it at this point.
Hell yeah, that's sick, man. No, is baseball like your main sport?
Yeah. Back in the day, for sure, it was all three. I pretty much gave up basketball after Derrick Rose, and then the league just started getting very, kind of lame to me. So I dropped basketball. Football has always been like I just been a Bears fan by default. I never loved football. It's just something to do when nothing else is going on, right? But once I guess cutting the cord was definitely a reason, and then amongst getting deep into Pokemon now and YouTube content and things like that, watching YouTube content, I pretty much everything went off the wayside, and baseball has just been my only true love since I was a kid. Really, I mean, it was my first love even before Pokemon. So.
Yeah, like how you said, three sports like hockey and soccer just don't exist.
No, I do like soccer. I would say I love soccer, but only when it comes to the World Cup. When it comes to the World Cup, I go crazy. But I don't really care about MLS or even the Mexico League. I don't really follow any of those.
That's about where I'm at with hockey right now. I can watch playoff games that don't involve the Detroit Red Wings. I love it. Playoff hockey is awesome for me. So you come from Chicago? Is that where you were from?
I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised 15 years. I actually turned 15 in Milwaukee, and yeah, lived there for 17 years, and now here in San Antonio. So I always envied, as I was growing up, I always envied those kids that like, oh yeah, I lived here and there, and here, and now I'm here, and I'm like, man, it's got to be so awesome. And eventually, I ended up doing the same thing. So it's pretty awesome. As an old 34-year-old, it's just I need good weather. I need good weather, and that was the move. Being in Wisconsin for so long, and then eventually moving, further out into the, suburbs north, and it's just like it's way too cold. Northwoods TCG, shout out to him. He lives central Wisconsin, and it's just got to be terrible. It's got to be terrible over there.
A tundra. Yeah, it's got to be cold.
I mean, we get sub-zero. I mean, when it gets to January and February, which is the worst part of the winter, you're talking about -40.
Yeah,
negative 50. So it's like, yeah, give me the 90 degrees, 100 degrees, 100%. I'm ready for that.
Not me, man. Shrivel up like a raisin. My ass. No, it's that's rough for us big guys.
What state are you in specifically? You're in the
Michigan,
north, right?
Michigan.
Okay, yeah.
So when we get the coldest temperature, it's usually close to 0, but we hit negative sometimes, but it's
really
cold.
In Michigan, you don't get them negative, -40s. You don't get even minus.
No, not here. Northern Michigan, it can get right there. It's like they can get 8 feet of snow just because we're surrounded by the lakes. So yeah, it's crazy sometimes. But
my last year there, once I found myself kicking the snow on back-to-back blizzards after a few days, and okay, driveway's nice and clean now, and then 2 days later there's another blizzard, and I found myself kicking the snow. I'm like, yeah, it's time to go.
Just got a heated driveway. Come on, man.
Well, that's one way to do it. One way to do it for sure.
Yeah, Texas is it's. I don't know. My wife couldn't do the bugs. Probably the tarantulas are a real thing down there. It's I don't know. It's a different lifestyle. That's for sure.
So far, bugs wise, I haven't found an issue. I still haven't found mosquitoes. I imagine eventually, but I've been here for 9 months already, and yeah, I haven't encountered any real bug issue. So far, I'm loving it. Yeah.
So, what temperature is there right now?
Right today, I think the high was 92. The next couple days, maybe 3, is going to be 101, 102. But here's the thing, and this is how I explain to my family back home. 100 degrees here feels like 85 degrees, maybe 80 back home.
Dry heat.
And right, an 85-degree back home is miserable because it's humid. It's humid automatically, and it's miserable at 85 degrees in Wisconsin. Here at 100 degrees, it feels amazing. And it's always, I don't know if it's San Antonio specifically. I don't know if it's because the desert involvement or what have you, but it's very breezy every single day for 8 months. So I was like, whoa, this is the windy city. Forget Chicago. This is the windy city. So I love it. I love it for that reason. I don't feel hot. I imagine, as everyone here warns me, just wait until, June, July, August, and then we can have this conversation again. We're like, all right, we'll see. 120 degrees, we'll see if I can take it.
Yeah. So do you have, what do you set your AC unit to, temperature-wise?
Man, I'm not an AC guy. The other day, Peak made fun of me when I jumped on the live. He says, hey, does that fan ever go off? And because I'm not an AC guy, the fans are always going. My AC set at like 77, 78, which, it's... But so, if you look at other folks, I mean, they've got it set at 65, 68.
Oh yeah. It's like in the summer here, I set my AC to 68. Freezing, like it's snowing almost in my house. It's the only way to do it.
I like windows open. I like I like a breeze. I don't like AC. That's too artificial for me. Yeah. If you're in the comfort of your own home, it's like you can sweat it out a little bit,
God. That's crazy, man. No, I got to sleep in the cold. I'm like a polar bear. That's funny. So you obviously buy through PWCC, as I've seen you join my lives. You were able to pick up your My Little Pony Ponychu.
Ponychu.
That card, have you ever thought about maybe sending it to get some type of pedigree on it at CGC?
What pedigree would it get? But no, I never thought
You
about
can name it Ponychu or Ponychu.
anything that you want.
You can
Just
put anything for
I
five.
thought it had to be like related to an event or something. Or
Nope.
oh wow.
It cannot influence the price of the card. So you can't on the back of it say ultra rare card or something like that. You
What?
could put like I could put the Green Shiz collection. You could put Ponychu.
I wonder, as I'm looking at it here now, because it no longer fits in my case because I've got it in my bedazzled sleeve. But I never gave it that thought. But now that you
Yeah.
mention it, it would be cool to have a pedigree, a slab that actually states Ponychu. And shout out to, I want to say it was I forget his first name, starts with a D, Lavender. I believe, and I'm chopping up the name, I'm pretty sure, but shout out to him because he's the one that coined it. I was like, hey, I'm stealing that from you. He goes, go for it. So it became Ponychu since that day. And no, I never gave it that thought. Now I'm kind of curious, but I just don't like CGC, man.
Yeah.
I don't like the label. I should say that. I don't like the label. I think the slab is probably the best in the game. I don't like the blue label. I hate that. Yeah. Hate.
Damn, that's
Hate.
strong.
Hate.
Wow.
It only looks good in water Pokemon. That's or maybe even colorless, but every other type, I just don't like it. I had a legendary collection Zard non-holo CGC 9 that I picked up from Nick. And I told him, I'm like, hey man, just a heads up, it's gonna get cross graded. It's going into a PSA slab. So yeah, that's how much it's just something. That sky blue label is just hideous to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, but I like it how it matches kind of their comic books. So if you had like a collection of comic books and some slabs, probably their video games are gonna have the same labels. Yeah, the biggest thing I like about them is that they don't abbreviate as much, so they get more of the set names. So like Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty bad. There's a lot of really long names, really long set names. So the font even explaining the sets is pretty tiny. But yeah, I respect it though. But the pedigree thing I thought would be pretty cool for the Ponychu and yeah.
I'm intrigued now. I'm definitely gonna have to talk to my middleman because they do them all, and I'll just to kind of get what their thoughts are. How easy would it be? Definitely I would have. Well, just like anything else, right? If you were like straight cross grade and send the slab over, if they don't feel like it deserves that grade, they don't even crack it open, right? So I imagine it's something along those lines. But yeah, before I even send it out, I want to kind of get the yay or nay, on it. So I'm definitely intrigued now. Yeah, I would love to see a Ponychu pedigree on it for sure.
Yeah, so I confirmed that because I was asking about the pedigree stuff because I'd love to get like a stack of slabs that say like the green shiz on them just as giveaways, which would be cool.
Oh, awesome.
That'd
Put your name on it.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Wow.
Literally anything. That's not offensive or it increases like
Yeah.
the thought of the card. Like you can't put like a super rare, ultra rare, one of one. You can't put just bullshit like that. So
That's freaking cool. But now I'm thinking, how come some of these influencers, top dogs, are not doing this? Maybe they are, but how come they're not doing this, putting their name on all of these slabs and then selling them even, or I would have figured one of those would have taken advantage.
So the podcast I just have, which probably won't be uploaded till next week, with Matt Quinn. I could talk about it, which was the senior grader at CGC. That's who I know this from because I was getting into it with him. I was like the pedigrees because I see it through all the box breaks. You see the pedigrees, and that's all I really see it from is like the Chumley box break, some whatnot box breaks, but I've never really seen. But when you do a checkout, so like when you're checking out through CGC, you can click a button, $5, add a pedigree. That's it. He's like, yeah, you can put anything. Just so like that's dope. That's pretty dope. So that'll definitely be on some giveaways for me coming up. Some actually pedigree cards, so people know those free cards came from me. So that'll be cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that actually interesting story now. This guy was asking me on IG about the Ponychu, how did I get it, yada yada. And he wanted to know a little bit of like, are there any other, cards out there? And I went live on IG when I first got it from PWCC and I opened it. So I went on IG. And while I was there, it was towards the end, and I was telling people, man, there's other versions. I actually looked it up, and there's, a Star Wars, crossover. There's Indiana Jones crossover, X-Files crossover. And so, a few people were asking. I said, you know what? Do you guys mind? I mean, do you guys want to see it? So I pulled out the laptop, started showing them. We went through every single card on there. And if I recall, and it's the same seller, $1,200 was the listing price or best offer for all of these. The coolest one was like the Indiana Jones and the chipmunk from the Disney characters. Probably my other favorite is the X-Files and the little aliens from Toy Story. So it's Toy Story and X. So it's Mulder and Scully with the little Toy Story aliens. That one's so cool. But it was $1,200 or best offer. Obviously, this has been gaining a little bit of attention because as he was asking me that, I just went into eBay so I can send him a link so he can just check them out. They're $5,000 now in less than 2 weeks.
God, shilled the shit to the moon. Jesus. Holy cow. That's crazy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Never look back. Never look back.
Yeah.
You should just post yours on eBay as a flex. Put it up there for 200K.
Well, that's why now, jokingly as a meme, I kind of, call out Logan Paul. It's like, hey, that blinged out illustrator that you got, nothing on this guy.
How many times was that graded, bud? Yeah, look at this son of a bitch. This thing is beautiful. Yeah. Long locks of hair. That's awesome. No, it's glad you got it, man. That's a beautiful card. Pretty cool. I wish I shilled it up more during my live streams and made you fight for it a little more.
You scared me, man. So going into it, I never really talk about my buys, especially on PWCC, right? Yeah. Because there's a lot of eyes. Even within our circle, there's a lot of eyes. So something as unique as this, I'm like, man, this is probably gonna go for like $1,000 is what I had in my head. I said, can I justify 1,000? I was like, yes, probably, but I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I wanted to put that much risk, right? But it's an awesome card, right? Yeah, so in my head, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do probably $300. So now I'm sitting down and it's football Sunday and I got to tune into Green Shiz, as I'm watching PWCC because that's such a fun time, as you're scrolling through PWCC, watching you live and talk about the same thing. Such an awesome, thing to do in the hobby. So kudos to you for that. So yeah, as I'm doing that, and all of a sudden you mention the freaking, Ponychu, and I'm like, no, and I'm not saying anything in the chat, right? I'm not mentioning that I'm watching it. I was like, no, what do I do? I was like, what do I do here? And I'm panicking, and I'm pretty disciplined. I set myself a number, and then that's it. There was something different about this guy that I thought, you know what, I've got to go higher. So I'm probably gonna go 400, right? Eventually, before the auction ended, I talked myself into going to like 5 or 550. Well, long story short, I got it for 280. So I was like, oh, under what I originally was willing to pay. Yeah. Like, cool, that's awesome. That's great. Sick. But you made me panic there for a little bit.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's funny. Made you sweat in your 77-degree house. What was I gonna say? Damn, drawing a blank. Anyways, moving on. Do you buy off Golden, Heritage, or any of the other sites, or is it kind of more honed in PWCC, eBay?
I definitely look at them 100%. I just have zero buys because I just don't get lucky. Again, I have a certain number going into it. Even if it's a lot, I've done this quite a few times, which I feel like, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that. Master sets, commons and uncommons and things like that. I price everything down. I will sit down if it takes a couple of days or a week. I will price every single card. I'll grab the top 5 auctions, the most recent auctions, average it out, total it up, And it's the average, and then how much am I willing to pay above that to kind of get a return there? Kind of trying to do that, move that transition of let's see if I can turn this into a little side hustle. But they always go above. So all of these, Dan is the one that kind of preaches, man, you're catching a lot of deals at Golden and Heritage. I'm not seeing them because they almost seem like they're going for market or above. And you would think that these the ones, especially the ones with the lots, master sets, you would think that you would get them definitely a little cheaper. Again, the bulk, idea, the bulk theory. But no, so after spending so many hours doing this and pricing every single card out just to give me an idea of what I'm willing to do and being unsuccessful, I was like, man, it's not for me. So I've watched single cards here and there, but again, me just having my discipline, having my number, I haven't been successful yet.
So most stuff you purchase like off PWCC and that, is it basically you're not buying for resale, it's more purchase stuff you're looking at to put into the collection?
Exactly. Once in a while, again, eBay, I will look at lots, but once again, I price it out, but it always goes above whatever I'm willing to pay for the little, side hustle that I'm kind of, I'm attempting to do, but I've been unsuccessful because they don't allow me to buy these things. So I'm like, you know what, maybe it's just not for me. It's for deeper pockets. And, but yeah, everything that I'm buying today, if I'm buying off of these sites, it's for the collection. It's not for, resale.
Yep. Yeah, it's I do a little bit of both on PWCC. It seems to always find itself in my collection more times than not. But I get the slab, I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have sent it to my house. Should have just left it there. It's it's crazy.
It seems like you're trying. Sorry, there. It seems like you're trying to compete against PK for the most of one card, and you're going for the Diglets, right?
Yeah, I got a ton of shadowless Diglets. That one Diglett alone, I almost have a 360 pocket binder full.
Wow.
Of shadowless Diglets.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's
it's
crazy.
Definitely my favorite card.
Really?
Yeah.
Now this has always been a thing. Like, how did that come about? I know that it's your favorite card. I just don't know how that came about. Maybe you told the story before, but I haven't heard it.
I don't know, man. It's just like I had, like, I don't know. I just always liked Diglett back in the day. The game, just the video game. I feel like you get them by the SSN in the Diglett cave, and that dude just slapped Lieutenant Surge's cheeks. Dude, he had no chance.
Yeah.
Then Dugtrio, similar. Earthquake, just the dude's
very OP. Dugtrio was very OP, which is why after I picked him up a few times, he's too OP. I don't like him. I don't like it when it's too easy. I like a challenge.
I'm gonna show you. I think I have it.
Yeah, my favorite part would be encountering Dugtrio just so that I can get the XP.
Yep. I got a custom. I don't know. I can't remember if I slabbed it. If I did, it's in my other box, or if it's about to get slabbed, it probably is. But I got a custom card drawn, basically with a Diglett knocking out a Charizard. It was pretty cool.
Oh, really? On the Diglett card?
Yeah, like he had awesome. You took like a base unlimited Diglett and just did a like painting around it. It's pretty sick. So I'll post it on my Instagram.
Talk about a card that deserves a slab over a CGC.
That's what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna. So the plan with all that is just to actually they won't do custom painted cards. Yeah. I'd asked them, but all these other grading companies will. So and they'll do custom labels for you. Just give them $10 more or something. So
awesome.
That's pretty handy. That's pretty handy. They come in handy sometimes. All those other 3-letter companies. So, which is cool. I can grade my childhood baseball card, which is amazing. When I'm like 7 years old, I can put it in a slab now.
Yeah, shout out to Swami. He has his own press, and here I always keep it close.
That's why he's got so many 10s.
There you go. He made this guy here.
Damn.
So it's got the Bulbasaur, my original logo, Swami there, and then it's got us during the podcast.
Nice. That's badass.
That's
pretty got cool. His own press. Of course he does. That's funny. Yeah, the heritage thing, I know Dan definitely shot himself in the foot. Seems to like doing that quite a bit.
He likes that, huh?
He loves it. He loves self-inflicting pain. Like he posts the videos. Yeah, I bought his first edition base set off Heritage. I made 20 grand. Of course, people are gonna flock to Heritage now. They're like, "What's happening?" Like,
And you know
but
what?
yeah,
That's exactly what happened with me. I that's where I got the info from. It's like, yeah, let me go check it out. And as soon as I saw lots, I was like, you know what? Maybe lots are the way to go. You know, the whole bulk theory, and let me break it down. Yeah, but I just haven't been able to. But then is where I got it from for sure.
yep. And he caught bigger pockets on. So then come the last one, he did not. I don't think he ended up buying any because they outbid him. They went a lot closer to like market value too. I definitely give them that. Those things definitely sold for pretty decent amount.
Yeah.
And then he did it again for his and then not really self-inflicted for that, his booster box breaks. Plans on selling some of the cons, which was pretty awesome.
And now the next thing where he's shooting himself in the foot and is the CGC submissions, because there's a play there. Well, now everyone's going to be sending off to CGC, and he's going to be stuck in line again. He's going to shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah. So not a fan of CGC at all. Man, that's.
Listen, I'll buy CGC slab, and I have a handful. It's got to be for the right price. But like, if it's something like that Legendary Collection, Zard, it's gonna be crossed over, But I have about 7 CGC slabs now, but it's gonna be.
Is that the only one you've cracked and resubbed?
That's the only one, and again, it's gone through a middleman, and shout out to Ivy. That's who the middleman is, and she pretty much submits to all of the grading services, and I mentioned it once, and it was through the ticket. She has a ticket, so she just said, "Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I can do this." And I was like, "All right, take it." Like,
take it all.
Because Graded Gem, maybe they just didn't advertise it, but they didn't say that they had those options, and maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore for sure, but yeah. And going through any other, any one of these middlemans. Instead of me trying to do the homework, if this person's already offering to do it, I said, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it then. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what kind of happened there.
Hell yeah. That's yeah. The Ponychu, would that thing even be allowed to get graded at PSA? They grade those?
I have no clue. I haven't asked for the question. Again, it's not graded by Beckett. I mean, Beckett did not give it a grade. It's just authenticated.
Yeah.
It's authenticated. It does say sketch card, Penelope Barbalios, but other than that, I mean, maybe that's good enough to get it authenticated. To be honest, I don't know if I want it in a different slab. Kind of, sticking to the whole history of just, keeping it there from the very beginning, But yeah, if PSA all of a sudden, if I got info that PSA would definitely just put it in their slab and authenticate it, I might be down for that. Yeah, forget the Ponychu, forget the pedigree. If it could go in the PSA slab, that would be awesome.
That's funny. Yeah, like most of my high-end stuff is in a PSA slab, but I think I prefer the CGC. I don't know. It's to each his own, man. Everyone's different. That's crazy. Like literally my entire Zapdos collection's PSA 10s. I wish I could get CGC 10s, but those will come out in the next 3 months, hopefully. We'll see.
Am I wrong? Did I hear that there's talks that their label is going to change?
No, I doubt it.
No,
I don't think that's going to happen.
So is that the whatever sister company or whatever the
company? Yeah, CGC has a sport company, CSG. It's different. It was a green label, and then they just changed it to black and changed their grading scale simultaneously.
So that's what it was.
Which was pretty crazy because you could resub. So right when they announced that, I went and bought a 9.5 that I wanted because you could send in a 9.5 to get a 10. They would literally change it to a 10 when you sent it because it used to be a gem mint, a 9.5, and they would change it. So
I remember your video. You mentioned that you were going to be buying all of these 9.5s just to get that 10. Yeah.
So I only ended up buying one, but it was like a 1999 Red Wing rookie card. So, but it's going to be a 10 now, so that's pretty cool. Fit right in with my Red Wing collection I've got going on.
That's awesome. So you don't think that that will ever happen with CGC? That's not a big enough complaint? No? It's
No,
just
no, I think they're staying down the straight road the way it seems. Yep. Which they've graded a shit ton of cards. There was like almost probably 1.5 million, and some, who was it, the Pokey Flips podcast, or 7 hour long podcast that dropped today?
yeah. I got through the first 45 minutes and then I had to pause it.
Yeah, it's definitely longer than the movie Titanic. Not as romantic either. You didn't have Rose and Jack. You just had beautiful Mason. Yeah, but
It's a fun one. Whenever you have Mason on, it's definitely a fun one. It's a must.
Yeah, the best first 45. I got through probably an hour and a half. First 45 minutes were pretty good. Mason ripping into him. So go subscribe to Pokey Flips podcast. They need to grow faster. Nick needs more content. He does not upload anymore. That's his only content now.
Yeah, for sure. And those two guys, I combined them as one before they actually combined themselves as one. And I put them as my Mount Rushmores. They're just very entertaining for various reasons. But for some reason, I just always combined the two of them. Maybe just to be able to fit another guy. But now that they're together, now for sure, they're taking up one spot on that Mount Rushmore. But yeah, there's something about those two guys that they're very, their personality, the way they go about in the hobby, their enjoyment, their passion, it's just awesome. I like it. I like seeing people. Pretty much all the people that I subscribe, they're all passionate people. And I just see right through that, and those are the people that I love to see. So I'm subscribed to you, so that's got to say something.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely.
And I'm there every Sunday, so.
I won't be there this Sunday. I'll be on an airplane,
so
I'll be missing it, kind of. So be saving money though. That's fine. I'll be saving money, not watching PWCC unless I get internet on the airplane, which would be bad, but we'll see. Your trip to the pop-up shop, which was pretty awesome, local to you, basically. It's obviously it was in Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm. Dallas.
So how far is that from San Antonio?
It's 4 hours. 4 hours away from San Antonio. It's actually like 4.5, closer to 4.5. Houston is 4 hours, and then Austin is like an hour and a half. So it's awesome. I'm just like in the center, and I can just go to any one of them. Yeah.
So did you day trip that? Go drive there, drive back same day, or did you stay the night?
I made it a weekend. Yeah, I made it a weekend thing. Got in Friday and then left Sunday.
Yep. Was the pop-up shop a weekend event, or was it just a 1 day?
Just a 8 hour,
8 hour event.
8 hour events. But me just kind of going to these events already and having the experience, I just know that there's probably going to be an opportunity to hang out, and if that happens, there's probably not a good shot of driving back or doing a 4.5 hour trip. So yeah, I just decided to make it a weekend out of it. And I'm pretty sure you've seen some of or heard some of the stories. I mean, it was PK and Rock, that whole day, all night. It was a pretty amazing day. That was essentially my highlight, was just being with these guys from beginning to end. That was just an amazing thing.
PK always says he's a cheap date. Did he still drink Bud Lights while he was down there, or did he change it up?
Oh yeah. I think he changed it up maybe once, maybe twice. But it was the ones that we bought him. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's looked like a good time, man. Obviously, you had a great time. Only live Charizard pulled. So, it's still in the box, right?
Still in the box, right here. Still sealed. I'm gonna cover the name because it's Rusty's information, but yeah. Sealed. Never opened it, not planning on opening it probably. Maybe one day, but we're talking about a decade or so. Like I have no plans on opening it now.
Why?
Oh man, that's such a long story. Do you know the story at all?
I heard there was a guy that brought a pack, pulled a Charizard, and he got a pedigree, right?
Yeah. So
that's kind of what I know. And it
right. Yeah, so it's essentially, without mentioning names because I'm past it already, that to me, there's never been an issue on my end, really. it sucks for sure. There were feelings behind it on my end for sure, but I never got to the point like where everyone else were, they were just like attacking this guy, for doing this, and poor basic. I'm like, dude, it's not that serious either. You know what I mean? To be attacking this guy for it. On top of that, I don't think there was any malicious intent or I don't think he was in cahoots with, PSA. It was just a unfortunate, but fortunate accident for him. But yeah, essentially, he brought a pack from home that he bought on eBay so he can open, at the Leonhard pop-up shop. And he did that just so that he doesn't steal a pack away from, the fans, right? And so, so he did that, and he did it post live. So the cameras were off, people were gone. And yeah, he opened it on stage, but it was once pretty much the event had already, wrapped up. The issue was that me, PK, Rock, we all went to the, PSA booth, along with Rusty, because Rusty, chased me down, and said, "Hey, I gotta pay for that grade." I'm like, "No, I got it," and he wouldn't take no for an answer. And as the Charizard Authority, him, I eventually I was like, all right, you know what? Let's do it. I can't turn down the Charizard Authority, right? So we went, and they were asking also about the pedigree. None of us were going to get a pedigree, including myself. We were all told that we were not going to get pedigrees. But I just lucked out because Rusty was paying for it, and he wanted to get it done through his account and whatnot. So I lucked out, but obviously to pay $250 for a base set unlimited card that you're most likely, if you're lucky, are going to get a 9, but probably there's a chance that it's an 8 as well. To pay $250 for it and not have a pedigree, the pedigree alone might be worth the $250 regardless of the grade. But yeah, I couldn't justify that myself. I probably was going to do it for sure if the pedigree, not probably, I was going to do it for sure if they got the pedigree. But once they said no, I wasn't going to do it. PK, Rock, they said, nope, we're not grading that for sure. And it didn't matter what you wanted to get graded. It was $250 flat.
Yeah.
So, so that's what happened. That's what other people were told as well. So, okay, we all left knowing that no one's going to get a pedigree. Fast forward to, or not even fast forward. No, that's when I received it. I received my card back on Valentine's Day. So whenever the person got their card back within a week, because they actually paid the premium above. They paid the premium above to get it expedited. So they got it back. They did the opening, the reveal, what have you, and he got the pedigree. So obviously the natural, knee-jerk reaction is, oh, of course the influencer gets the pedigree, right? But the little people, we don't get anything. So 100% there was the emotion behind it, but it's one of those things. It's trivial. After I had a day or two to think about it, it was like, you know what, whatever. But then there was all this attention gathering, because so many people, regardless of what they pulled, they wanted the pedigree. They wanted Leonhard on there because it was a special event. It was a special event. We went live. It's never happened before. So I get it. And some people actually were willing to pay that $250 with no pedigree. So they were fortunate when they received their return. Boom, they get a pedigree. So he was not the only one. A few other people also received it, but the grand majority, didn't for that reason. So, fast forward, everything was squashed, and, people are going back and forth and whatnot. Essentially, once I received the box, and I already had this feeling going into it a few days before, I was like, I just don't feel right. The way that I kind of best described it, I can't enjoy and celebrate this card with a possible pedigree, because we still don't know if it has a pedigree or not. Knowing that, my guy PK is never going to get his pedigree. Another person that was involved, Ivy, she couldn't get her pedigree on her right shoe. Rock as well, and so many others with, in that event that are not ever going to get their pedigree. Which Ivy now got her right shoe back. She emailed them, gave them the story, gave them the timestamp, and it didn't work. Eventually they said, no, we can't do it. We can't do it post. It's got to happen. It had to happen at the events. You had to submit at the events. So knowing that now, and even she is, is an influencer, TikTok following of, 30K and whatnot, she couldn't pull it off. So the fact that all of these guys, that I formed relationships with can't get that same enjoyment, there's no possible way I feel like crap enjoying it. And it's not even so much now that it's just like, it's kind of soured that a little bit from me. Now I can't enjoy it the same. Even if it was just for my own selfish reasons, it still doesn't feel right. I wouldn't enjoy it the same way. And so this idea came about kind of in a way of me preserving my experience. So now this is me taking back, it's cheesy. This is all gonna sound very cheesy, but me taking ownership of my experience again. This is my experience now. No one can take that away. Not that one person, which again, I'm cool with that person. He's fine. There, no malintent on his side. But yeah, if my guys that I really am very close with, if I can enjoy it with them, they can enjoy it with me, then I can't do it. So it's staying sealed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like Rusty paid to get it graded, right? Yeah. So myself, I'd almost just send him the box just to give him peace of mind. Let him open it, let him seal it, send it back to you just so he could see what grade it got.
So here's the thing. So I was not going to mention this part, but throughout the entire process, I stayed in contact with Rusty, and we had quite a few conversations back and forth. Once I had officially, without talking to anyone, officially made the decision that this is what I was going to do, I told Rusty, I was like, hey, I know that you're able to see through your account what grade it got, did it get the pedigree or not. I said, long story short, and I kind of told a very short version, I said, I'm not going to open it. I'm going to keep it sealed. I just don't feel right, opening it myself and enjoying it. Therefore, could you just do me one favor? And I know I'm asking for a lot because you already paid for it. You already did all these things that you didn't have to. Do you mind, one, that I do this because you paid for it? Two, if you're okay with it, do you mind not sharing the grade or the pedigree? Because I'm sure people will eventually reach out to you, ask. And he said, oh, dude, he says, first of all, that's your experience. You enjoy that card however you like. I paid for that experience in a sense. So if that's how you want to enjoy it, I'm more than happy to. So it was just typical TCA response, right? I mean, that guy is just gold. And then he says, as far as the your favor for not sharing the grade, he goes, that's the easiest part. So yeah, that I won't share it. I won't know. He said, I know what it is, but if you don't want to know, and you don't want me to share it, I'll do that. Yeah, your wishes are my command. So he says. So
yeah, I forgot he sent it with his account, so he does have it. So he at least got to see what Charizard grade got. That's cool.
And my brother, I remember he contacted me. He's like, dude, you're not opening it? And I was like, no. And I told him the story. He says, but what if you got the 10? And I was like, oh, dang. What if I did get the 10? But it's not. I mean, the odds of it actually happening, it's not. PSA is not just going to hand out a 10. But in the chance that did happen, then it would be the only Charizard, with the Leonhard pop-up shops pedigree, because it's a 10. The other one is a 9. But regardless, I actually looked up the other cert number, and it's mixed in with the rest of the population.
Yeah.
Sometimes they separate them, but it's like you got to catch them on a good day or, what have you. But yeah, at least his is just mixed in with the other unlimited. So it's like, hey, you know what? For my own selfish reasons, it feels a little that much better that it's just mixed in with the crowd. So it's okay.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, PSA 10 would be pretty sick. Bad. How'd it look? Do you think I had a shot?
So that's funny because throughout the whole process, the whole ordeal, I never got to look at my card. PK held my card probably the longest because as soon as they were waving me down when I was walking down the stage, and because I was looking for these guys, I didn't know where they were. They were all sleeving every single card. They had penny sleeves and they had the submission sleeves. And so PK, I think he was the one that brought him, and he said, dude, sleeve everything. He goes, let me see the Charizard. well, I gave him the Charizard. I think Rock even took a look. At that point, I'm like, what happened? Because just to give a little bit more of a backstory, and I kind of said it in the beginning, I've never pulled a base set Zard ever,
Yeah.
and the fact that this was my very first Zard, the fact that it was done live, the fact that I could always rewatch it and watch my reaction. I mean, that's just freaking amazing. So yeah, but by the time that they were looking at it, PK's pre-grading it, and he's looking, he's looking what possibly this can get. That's when TCA comes over, and then I never got to look at my card again. So I took a look at it for like maybe 20 seconds, but it was just admiring the pool, not pre-grading or anything. So PK says that it most likely it's a 9 because it looks like it had the same nick as his Mewtwo on the left side of the back. So that alone most likely would not yield a 10. With that said, Ivy's Raichu came back a 9, and it has the exact same defect, whitening. So if hers is a 9, PK already thought it was a 9 compared to his Mewtwo, then most likely it's a 9. But it's still up in the air whether it got the pedigree or not. That's probably the biggest question.
I can't believe you didn't get to check it out that much. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's like instantly, like when you pull something out of a pack nowadays, like it's straight into a sleeve. Like you hold the raw card for less than 5 seconds. It literally, you pull the hit into a penny sleeve or a top loader if you're a collectibles guru. But literally, just straight into the penny sleeve. You don't get to hold the raw card. It's crazy compared to what it used to be.
From the moment of me walking off stage, and then as soon as I have that little moment, right? I'm pulling it, I'm looking at it, but it's just more admiring the pool. I'm walking off, and then there's this camera guy. There's a separate camera crew away from the stage, and hey, can we talk to you? Can we ask you a few questions? So obviously, yeah, and I go ahead and give my spiel about the whole experience. I'm not looking at the card this whole time. I go down the stairs. That's when they wave me down. That's when PK grabs the card. A minute later, that's when Rusty comes over and he takes the card, and then I never got to see it again.
Oh, you gotta be like, F you, Rusty. Give me my shit back, bro. Don't touch it.
No, thank you, Rusty. I mean, if he listens to this, thank you, man. I do appreciate it. I mean, he knows how grateful I am. I told him that so many times, but yeah, that dude's definitely amazing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. No, it seemed like there's obviously a bunch of mixed feelings about the pop-up, but it seemed everything I saw, a lot of people had a lot of fun just seeing a bunch of different people. One of the last guys I had on my podcast, Ruxin, I don't know if you saw that one. Yep. He was there as well. I think he was also VIP.
Yep.
And yeah,
he was VIP.
Oh, so what's that mean?
So me, PK Rock, we were VIPs. We had the VIP 1 package, right? Well, there was this other section where it's like the VIPs of the VIPs. That's
okay.
Essentially all the influencers and whatnot. Yeah.
PK wasn't there.
He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there.
I respect that. Yeah. Yeah, that's seemed like a cool time. Hopefully, I don't know if he'll do it again just because of how much backlash he had to make an apology video, I think, and I don't know. It's sad to see that happened and all that time he spent on it.
Yeah.
It sucks to get that popular on YouTube and then every single thing is scrutinized down to the second, and the bad things shine more than the positive. So, oh well, because I know Leonhardt, when I got back into Pokemon, was probably one of the first videos I stumbled upon, right? So I just, because how many subscribers, if you type in Pokemon Vintage or whatever, PokeRev and Leonhardt will pop up, and yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah, you're never gonna please anyone, and look, for what it's worth, and to give those people that did complain credit, they did have a bad experience. There was no doubt about that, right? But it was, could have things have been, done better. 100% they could have, but it was his first one.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Nothing goes well the first time you do anything for the first time. So I really do hope that there's more. especially across the country, across the world. If you can go to the UK, Australia, things like that, that would be amazing. Yeah, if anything, I really hope he continues. He shouldn't stop. There's always going to be hate regardless of what you do, especially when you're that big. Regardless, there's going to be a percentage of people that are not going to like you. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. So I know your favorite evolution of the three, anyways. The original three was Vaporeon, which is sad at best.
You know way too much about fishes. What's going on here? You know way too much.
That's I'm a big fan. I don't know if you ever watch Hot Ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sean does a huge, like, that dude knows everything about the guy across the table from him. And I like just doing some research just to know the people I'm going to talk to more than just some of the video. Like, I've seen, obviously, because you're in all these videos of people I watch already, so I'm already seeing a bunch of stuff. But I like looking back in the history of people and where they kind of started. And yours was 37 weeks ago, pretty much, on YouTube with Swami. So it's pretty crazy. It's come a long way, man. You got a lot of YouTube content, a lot.
It's pretty, again, like I told you earlier, to me, it's hilarious that people keep bringing me on, inviting me, what have you, for whatever reason, whatever angle it is. Like, me? Because usually the take is, oh, it's, another content creator and we can share our, our groups and, maybe we can cross, pollinate and, do one of those things. I'm like, me, I have nothing to give you guys. So it's like, I just find it hilarious that, people, are still calling me. Shout out to Northwest TCG last night. He reached out and says, hey, man, when are we going live? I'm always going to be the guy that says, you call it, boss. Like, that's, you want me on, I'll go on. You don't have to twist my arm to talk shop.
Every day but Sunday. That's Mother's Day. I get my ass beat, right? No.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome, man. But I appreciate coming on. You got any questions for me, man? Any I know you just got a bunch of Pokemon questions on Professor Oak's live. Were you on that one?
Yeah,
you were. Yeah, you, Cheval's, Droop. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. Different way to do it. I definitely hope to see some more of that come from Professor Oak. Hopefully he keeps up on that. That would be cool.
Not to milk this, but you were asking about the Vaporeon. I'm wondering where you were going to go with that.
Yeah, what's your so besides that crap Pokemon, your favorite Pokemon besides that one?
So I would
and not Pikachu.
Pikachu is actually not my favorite Pokemon. I just love to collect Pikachu, but it's not my favorite Pokemon. So for a long time, I had Bulbasaur as my logo. Bulbasaur is my favorite starter of all time. I mean, personality and whatnot. I mean, it's to me, it's just obvious. My favorite Pokemon, I would say my number one is Aerodactyl, because when you're watching the anime, you're watching all these new Pokemon as episodes start rolling through the progression of the anime. You start seeing new Pokemon, and all of a sudden you hit this episode where Ash, are fighting Team Rocket as always, and then they fall through this cave, and all of a sudden they wake up the fossil Pokemon, right? That's how we got to know the fossil set. Aerodactyl, Ammonite, Omastar, Kabutops. And I fell in love with Aerodactyl because he's a prehistoric dinosaur. I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. It's my favorite movie of all time, and one of my favorite franchises of all time. And so naturally, Aerodactyl was my guy. I was like, that's my favorite card. That's my favorite Pokemon. So that's how that one came about. Also, my favorite episode, because not only Aerodactyl, but it's the first time that we got to see Charmeleon involved into Charizard that episode. We got to see a Gen 2 Pokemon, kind of, with Togepi. It was still an egg, but, that's when we saw Togepi. So a lot of firsts during that episode. And, but now my third is what I would call my favorite Pokemon with no strings attached. It's just my favorite Pokemon because it's just beautiful and whatnot. Articuno.
Not Diglett. All right.
Not Diglett. Not Diglett. So those are my 3 favorite Pokemon. Yeah.
Articuno is pretty sick. I a lot of similar cards to Zapdos that I am a big fan of. The phone cards, which are outrageously priced. I'd love to own one of those Zapdos or Articuno cards one day. Just remind me of like the Pokemon trading card game. I think it's the art from there or it's similar.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's yeah, that's awesome. Good pick.
Yeah, it's my favorite card also, and I think the part of the attachment is not only that one episode is a very special, episode, teary episode, let's call it, but when I first pulled Articuno from a fossil pack, it was awesome. It was the most beautiful card. I still think it's the most beautiful card, especially in Japanese. Especially Japanese, it's a very beautiful card.
Cosmo Hollow Pops.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I love the my favorite Japanese hollow, just on the subject, is Giovanni's Gyarados. That thing's got some deep blues to it in the Japanese variant. The thing looks sick. It almost looks like a sticker, like the old school vending machine stickers you get here. I love it. That thing's awesome.
Yep, that's awesome.
So, yeah, man. But I appreciate coming on. I know we scheduled this a month ago almost. But glad we stuck to it. Really good getting to know you for the first time. Really, I never really spoke to you. That's probably a first. I think I've at least spoke to people on the phone, because obviously I messaged you through Instagram and whatever, Discord or something maybe, but yeah, usually most other people I've at least spoke to on the phone. So it's pretty cool. Just different. Enjoyed it thoroughly, and hope some of the people here definitely go check out your Instagram. I'll have it all linked below. Your future YouTube channel that's going to start with you and Peak That Shoe's going to start one, right? Start a podcast.
Stay tuned.
You just did that banger of a live with Mason on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. That was Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, that was an awesome live. It's just awesome talking shop with people that are equally as passionate, regardless of their angles, regardless of their, their story, their backgrounds, what level in the hobby they're at. It's, we can all relate with the hobby itself. So yeah, it's freaking awesome. If I may, once again, not milking it, but you asked the question, do I have any questions for you? And, you definitely have gained a lot of momentum in the past, let's call it, or at least that I'm aware of, in the past 3 months, but probably even more. And what brought my attention, or what brought you to my attention was, I think you came on Jake's, correct? Jake's live,
No.
or was
I
it?
had him on mine for a podcast episode.
That's what it was. Okay, that's what it was. That's how I found you. But even before then, I had ran into your videos, but I never had subscribed up until that point. So sometimes I like to do on, when I have some, dead time, I noticed that you have a ton of videos. Sometimes I like to go back and look up just, early videos on people that I've never seen their videos before, that I'm just subscribed, but they've been here forever. What can I expect? What can I expect from early Shiz?
A lot more swearing in my first earlier videos. Okay. I went away from swearing. I'll swear sometimes in these long form content because some of my family won't watch some of these longer ones, but I don't know. I just went away from it. It wasn't as cool for me to do it.
Sure.
I'd literally open up with swearing right up. I was in the basement. I was in my basement for probably the first 200 videos. But yeah, literally most of it was same content: buying collections, grading, CGC, cracking cards. Have not changed a whole lot. I did some heritage auctions, streams. Don't see too much. CGC's come on a lot lately because they've had a lot of news. So I did cover news though, like PSA news that was going on, and so yeah, a lot of similar stuff, just in a different location and maybe a longer beard and longer hair at some points, but it's good stuff. Collection
All right, well, fair warning, you might be seeing some comments on some of your very old videos, but you know where it's coming from.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. No, it's yeah, tons of stuff. Like, it's been a grind. I've been posting frequently for a while. Cool. So appreciate it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Enjoy.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure I will. If it's anything like this now, but just swearing on top of it, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this will be episode, I'd have to look, 14 or 15 of the podcast. I think old school was number 2. So there's a bunch of those two just to check on. I don't know if you've seen them all, but
Oh, I've seen every single one of your podcast. Yeah.
yeah, there's some bangers. So yeah, it's good stuff, man. But Basic, appreciate you being on again, man. Unless I had another question that I'd left out there hanging, you're gonna hit me with again before I say the outro.
No, I promise. I
can't remember it all, man. I can't. So
I promise that was the last one on my.
But hope to at least talk to you on the chat a week from this Sunday. PWCC would be cool. But you have a good night and enjoy Mother's Day, man.
Yeah, likewise. And once again, thank you, man, for having me on. I appreciate it. It's an honor. I love this stuff. So the fact that you brought me on once again, the Joe Schmo, I love it. Thank you, man.
Hell yeah. All right, man. You have a good night in your hot ass house now.
Likewise. Likewise.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye.